Welcome to the Better to Better podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I want to remind you guys of a couple of things. Today is the first day that you can register for the free Date Better webinar that I'll be hosting on December 15th. I believe it'll be 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And what I highly recommend is that you go ahead and click the link that's in the show notes in order to register. You'll also be able to go to my website if you'd like, which is coachtracie.life, CoachTracie.life, if you want to register for this webinar. So one, it'll be a very good way to get just information about dating as a mom and how to help this process along. But also, it will be the first time that people can join the Date Better program and take advantage of the bonuses that I'm offering for people who attend the webinar and actually join at the time of the webinar. So the Date Better program launches in January, meaning our first group meeting and all of that will start in January. But you want to hop in and get access to the bonuses and everything by being at the webinar. So I highly recommend that you take a moment to click the link in the show notes or go to my website so that you can register for the Date Better webinar. Also, always know that you can join my email list, which there's also a link in the show notes for that. And joining the email list, you'll be able to stay up to date on all the things that are happening and going on through my email list. I send out updates and information about things like registering for webinars, joining programs, things like that. And also, it's helpful for you to watch this and listen to this podcast on YouTube and to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Coach Tracie, and also to follow the podcast on whatever podcast platform you prefer. All right, that's all for today and announcements. Now let's get into the episode, which is the benefits of taking a break from dating. I am doing this episode now because, as I said in a previous episode, the winter prep episode, when the cold weather comes, there tends to be a natural decline in dating, or I should say more so maybe the cold weather and the holidays. The holidays tend to cause an interruption for dating for some people, just kind of like when it causes an interruption for hiring at a job. And I always talk about the fact that you are the HR manager, the human resources manager for your dating life, for your life really, but for your dating life. And this the dating process kind of mimics that flow where, if you're applying for a job, it takes longer to hear back around this time of year because people are taking time off and you taking breaks and things like that, right? So with that, this can be a good time to take a break from dating if you are feeling called to do that. If you are not feeling called to do that, don't take a break from dating now. Keep moving forward and doing the due diligence. But I do want to make the point that as much as I talk about consistently dating, not giving up, being out there, I first always value checking in with yourself on your needs. I'm at the heart of hearts a self-care girly because I see dating as self-care. If your goal is to bring a partner into your life, or to just go out and have fun with people, then dating is self-care. But self-care is also knowing when you need breaks and knowing when you need time. So today's episode is about the benefits of taking a break from dating if you are being called to do so. So I think of it as, this time of year can be a good time to take a break. You might find less people on the apps, again, because they're leaning into holiday stuff or travel or things like that. And so it can be used as a time to recalibrate for yourself. You can identify goals that you have and goals and desires that you have for your life, goals and desires that you have for the next few months, and really sit and take time to think and write down these goals and desires. And of course, this very much flows into the idea of people, setting New Year's resolutions for the new year or things like that. I don't personally set resolutions. I simply continue my process of identifying my desires in life and kind of leaning into that. Again, I've mentioned I'm really into law of attraction and all of that. So that's kind of part of my process. But this is a time to recalibrate. So what I encourage you to do, what I challenge you to do is to get a journal, get some pen and paper, and literally ask yourself, what are things that I want for myself in my life? And I want one of those areas that you focus on to be your romantic life. Do I want companionship, partnership? Do I want a good time? Do I want friends with benefits? But identify what it is you're really looking for right now so you can really lean into aiming for that when you get back to dating if you're choosing to take a break. And so If you are taking a break right now, I think of a couple of things that you want to be doing. You want to be relaxing on one end and you want to be working on the other. So, relaxing, I'm thinking of you wanting to find ways to bring calm and peace to yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Maybe you've had a rough go of dating lately, and so you want to just simply like give your nervous system a break. So, you're going to be thinking about the things that help you do that. What helps to calm and soothe you? So I say self-care is anything that brings you a sense of peace, joy, or excitement. So we're looking at the peace bucket. What are the things that bring you peace? It may be going no contact with certain people who you've been dating. It may be reducing the amount to which you are, in your DMs on the dating apps or, responding to people. It may be choosing not to go on any dates right now, but being intentional about this, because what I want you to be wary of is this idea of just like giving up on dating. I talk about the fact that you can experience dating burnout just like you can experience burnout from anything. And so I always want you to be careful of getting to the point of being burnt out, because then that makes you just give up. And I'm not advocating just giving up and saying, oh, whatever, I'm not going to date anymore. No, no. What you need to do is check in with yourself and recognize when you need a break and when you need to rejuvenate and refill. And this could be a good time to do that, right? So, what are the things that are bringing you peace, joy, and excitement? Is it decorating for the holidays? Is it cooking? Is it hosting friends and family? Is it not very intentionally not hosting friends and family? Maybe going to someone else's house or having a really chill holiday. Back maybe 2 Thanksgivings ago, I have an episode on this podcast about being thankful for solitude, and I had a very uh I was in kind of on my own in a lot of solitude that Thanksgiving, and that was just what I needed, and it was wonderful. So I highly recommend you maybe going back and listening to that episode. I will try to link it in the show notes. But um, check in with what you need to bring peace and calm. What are the conversations maybe you need to have with your kids around certain boundaries that you want to put in place around your needs as a person and their needs as your children, right? But this also applies to friends and family. This is a great time to lean into boundary setting and identifying, oh, here's what I need right now. Here's the space that I need in order to kind of rejuvenate and be ready for, the next month, stuff like that. So on one hand, you're looking at what relaxes you, calms you, soothes you. On the other hand, there is work to be done. And the work that may need to be done are things on self-evolution, things on meeting certain goals that you have for yourself. That could be health, fitness, parenting, household, career, employment, finances, dating, any of the things, but identifying what those things are that you want to change or improve, because that's where the work will be. This is also a time to catch up on work around the house, errands, just life stuff that maybe has fallen by the wayside. So you're like taking a break from dating and leaning into maybe having some time off during the holidays and saying, "Hey, I want to tend to my home. I want to tend to my body and myself. I want to tend to my kids." Maybe it's a time for you to catch up on work, like at your job. Maybe it's a time for you to catch up on stuff that you've been behind on, if that feels good to you. Meaning, because you may not have to be showing up to work right now at certain times, or maybe because you are spending less time out dating, right? Like you have more time at home to catch up on things. If that's going to make you feel better to catch up on work, what you want to be doing is being intentional about asking yourself, what are things that I want to change, upgrade, uh, fix, work on, catch up on right now, and utilize this time to do that. So, this is a good time when we talk about goal setting, right? Things you want to change or see be different. This is a good time for you to reflect on the past year, what's been good, what's not been good, and help yourself identify what you want to keep and bring into the new year versus what you want to stay in this year, right? And this applies to any part of your life, but particularly in dating. Let's talk about the fact that you want to ask yourself, what have I liked and enjoyed and appreciated about my dating experience this year? What haven't I? Maybe you've done no dating and that's not something you appreciate and you want it to be different next year. So that's something that you want to, the no dating is what you want to leave in 2025, and you want to bring into 2026 the idea of dating and going on more dates. Maybe you've been going on dates, but they haven't been particularly good quality dates. You want to identify what has made them not feel so great and you want to say, okay, I want to leave those type of dates here, and I want more of these type of dates. There's an episode about leaning into that great date feeling. So asking yourself, have there been any great dates or parts of dates that have been good that I want more of that? You want to think about that, and I'll also try to link that episode in the show notes as well. But you want to be thinking about what type of dates or what parts or pieces of dates do I want to take into the new year. Maybe I found some good restaurants and I want to take those into the new year and have those be places that I go and I frequent. You want to be asking yourself, how have I used dating apps? Have I not used them at all? Have I used them in a way where, like I always say, people are like actually dating through the app? They're like talking forever for weeks and weeks or days and days, rather than using the dating apps as I do as a directory. There's also episodes about that. Um, you want to be using the dating apps to meet people, but then you want to quickly get in real life with them so that you can determine if it's worth spending your time and energy with them. So maybe you've been using the dating apps and not in an ineffective way, and you want to leave that in 2025, and you want to carry into 2026 this idea of being more efficient at using dating apps. What I feel is one of the best episodes I've done is how to effectively use dating apps. So I will link that one as well. This is a time to be very intentional and very thoughtful. The next week's episode of the podcast is going to be more specifically about goal setting, going into the new year, and just things that I've done or do, or things that can be helpful, things for you to think about, kind of things to reflect on to help you in your goal setting. But I just want you to be intentional about any breaks that you take in dating rather than doing what so many women do. They get frustrated. Some guy does something stupid or says something dumb, and they're like, oh, I'm over it. I'm just getting off the apps. And they've been on the app for like a week. Great, but you're not going to get great results. Or they're like, oh, I'm over it. I don't want to deal with men. I don't want to talk to men. So they just kind of shut themselves off, like, when they go out, or they don't go out at all. None of that is going to work to your benefit. I always say that if a man walked up to your front door right now, rang the doorbell, and said, I'm the perfect guy for you, that would probably be really creepy and scary in real life. And you would call the police, right? Like, what I mean is that person's not just going to come walking up to your front door, the magical, perfect person for you, and you be aware of that in the moment. Because if some guy does that, I'm closing the door and calling the police. Like, I don't know you, sir. Like, what's going on, right? This is not I was gonna say some Lifetime movie, but that'd be unfortunate because those always go bad. Some Hallmark movie where these sort of things are happening, and that feels good, because then we'd be starting to talk about, oh no, like, is he the next Tinder swindler, or is he gonna love bomb you X, Y, and Z, right? So you got to be realistic, and anything that's important to you or of importance or of value usually requires some amount of work. So I'm always out here pushing for the fact that you do the intentional work in dating, but I'm also recognizing and needing you to recognize, like, finding like those boundaries and knowing when you need to step back, take a break, but that it's an intentional break. It's not I'm just throwing it all up and I'm over it sort of thing. It's a, you know what, I'm going to take this time to recalibrate, to relax and calm myself and soothe myself, but also to identify where I want to do the work. Okay? So, the benefits of taking a break from dating is it allows you to recalibrate. You need to find ways to relax and chill out, but you also can take time to be intentional about what you want to work on and where you want to do the work. All right? That's all.